United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Okay. All right, the first item of business is a roll call. Commissioner Ed Laturco.
Here.
Okay. Commissioner Sarah Walensky.
Here.
Commissioner Indra Deb.
Here.
All right, good. Commissioner Rob Sheehan.
Here.
Commissioner Kent Moffett. He's absent so far. Wait,
He will not be here tonight.
he won't be here, okay. Commissioner Bill Boyven.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Cohen as chair. I'm here. Conservation Administrator Eileen Coleman.
Here.
Assistant Conservation Administrator Lucy Hanson.
Here.
And Associate Commissioner, is she still on the commission?
I think Sadie was saying that the move was tonight, was that it? Or tomorrow?
Something like that.
And she
Well,
was,
we will mark her absent,
They were not-
as if
they were
she
not
was
sure.
here.
right.
Okay. Sadie Backstrom is absent. Associate Commissioner.
Whole deal there with the pronouns. She, they.
All right. Next on the agenda is public comment period. If you have something on your mind that's not on the agenda, or you're here for something else, we give a few minutes at the beginning of the meeting for such comments, 2 or 3 minutes if you want to say something. I don't see anyone online.
There is not.
There is not. All right, so the record should show that there is no one here for public comment, period. Next, we have approval of minutes. From what I could tell, we have minutes of March 12th, 2026.
Yes.
All right, any corrections or comments?
Not for me.
Could I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 6-0-0. All right, and March 26th hasn't shown up yet, has it?
No.
Okay. So now we're down to item 4, request for certificate of compliance. This one is for 120 Wilmington Road for Brian Damaso, DEP number 122-479. Is anyone here for that at all?
No.
No. Okay. Eileen or Lucy, want to tell us about it?
This is, my microphone's really far away, I apologize.
This was what?
Hold on, my microphone's all the way across the planet. One of those filings that I reached out to the homeowner to say, hi, this filing is open, please close it. And he was actually a new homeowner, just bought the house in the last couple of years. And he's all, I don't even know what's going on here. And it turns out this project was for a home that never got built. So the proposal for this filing was a tear down and rebuild. The existing house still remains. It was never rebuilt, it was never torn down, so nothing ever happened, and we need to close it out because it is expired.
I'm surprised if the new homeowner was buying it that the title search didn't show it up.
I don't know that it ever got recorded.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, that could be why it didn't
Yeah.
show up.
I know, we had the same back and forth. I was like, how did you not know?
All right.
There.
All right, so it seems like there's no discussion needed. Could I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance? Is that what we're doing here, or do we just withdraw it?
No, it would, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's, you are issuing a COC for an invalid order of conditions.
Could I have a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for an invalid order of conditions for 120 Wilmington Road, DEP file number 122-479?
So moved.
Second. All right, all in favor? 6-0-0. All right, done.
That's really-
Okay, next, we have a continued public hearing. This is 11 Sears Street for John Muller. It's to demolish an existing dwelling
No, we're 1
and
minute.
construct a new structure. This is DEP file number 122-731.
We're just 1 minute early, so how about you just hand me back that piece
No,
of
it changed,
paper?
it changed.
Okay, now we're fine.
We're good.
Well-
You were so fast with the first couple of things. You can sit down now, please, John.
Have a
if you like.
seat.
Well, Lucy, if you can bring up those,
I can.
whichever order is fine.
I was just going to point out on the screen a couple of updates from the last meeting in regards to...
Have a seat, you really don't,
Well, I'm going to go over there in a
oh,
second.
you're going over there?
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
To address some of the items the committee asked about.
sure.
Here we go, it's going. And there's that. And here's this. Ooh, come on, go away.
I didn't know, is that new, the thing where you can just get rid of it?
No, it's always been there. Yeah. It's also touchscreen, so you can scoot things around, I believe, with your hands,
Fantastic.
if you want to try that.
Okay. Yeah, if you can just go a little bit lower.
Do you want to try moving it with your,
Oh,
yeah.
look at that. Fancy. Okay. So last time we talked about the items of concern from the committee in regards to the removal of 3 trees. Upon further discussion, we looked at the property, the big, I believe it's an oak on the right-hand side. I think it's this item right here. That we decided with the location of the new house can stay. We're gonna move the property over slightly to accommodate that further, and only the 2 small ones in the very front, those are the only 2 that will be removed, to be replaced by 2 other native trees on this side of the property, which is a pretty wide open area right now between the 2 property lines. Additionally, the rest of this landscaping plan shows other existing trees here in the back right corner of the property. There's a existing forsythia shrubs and other green shrubbery in this area next to the wetland area. The committee asked for a 20-foot no disturb border adjacent to the wetlands, which we are fine with the 20 feet, with the proposal for native shrubs to be planted along the edge of the no disturb border. Any questions about that landscaping plan?
Okay, let's first we'll go to these people over here, our
Sure.
staff, and then we'll see if anybody else has any.
Sure.
So Lucy or Eileen?
Any questions of you?
No, so we were just, we weren't sure who was dealing with this. I don't think either of us have any
Yeah.
issues with that landscaping proposal. I think it's good. I think he did exactly what you asked.
Right.
Right.
Okay. How about on the commission? Anybody on the left? Indra or Rob, you have anything further in this? We asked for the 20-foot no disturb, and they provided it. Bill, how about yourself?
Nope, I'm happy.
Okay. Sarah?
I'm delighted to hear you're saving that big oak. Just maybe think of putting some protective things around it so it doesn't get, like, sometimes people put dumpsters right at the foot of a tree they're trying to save, and that can be a little counterproductive.
Okay.
Just the only thing to consider, but other than that, no issues.
Have that in.
Okay.
I can take that note for them. I mean, the front and the left side are the widest parts anyway, so I would be very surprised if they went over there, but I'll take that note for them.
Okay, Ed, anything on this? I just either have a point or a question.
Sure.
You're planting lots of shrubs,
Yep.
and there's like, behind the shrubs, there's like 19 feet. So isn't it the intention that that area would be left to be unmanaged?
I
That you-
think that's what he's
That's what you're
proposing to
saying.
do.
Yep.
Right, so you're not putting mulch down or anything like
No.
that? Okay, that answers that, okay. Okay, I think that's it from the commission. Anyone in the audience have,
Well, I think that was just the landscaping. He's got more.
oh, you have more?
Yeah. Can you bring up the
Yeah, I
papers?
do have one quick question, which
Sure.
is, do you have any proposed, like, demarcation or anything to put along that 20-foot border so that if you ever leave, or in case anyone else is ever mowing your yard, it doesn't get mowed down? Some people do like a post and rail fence, some people do some boulders.
I think his line of shrubs is actually it.
Oh, yeah? Okay,
Yeah, that's the intent.
okay. And as long as you're like good with that, then,
Yep.
okay, cool. And then here, it's loading slowly.
Sure.
Okay.
So, the second item from the committee was to
Yes.
provide more detail for the pavers. So, Robert had sent me this update. So you have Sears Street here with the property line. He has 4x4 by 6-inch granite rubble pavers, a 2-inch sand setting bed and 1-inch sand joints with a 6 to 8 inch compacted gravel base, and the driveway with thickened edge. Was there, the ask was for more detail. Were there specific details that were being looked for beyond that for the pavers?
I don't remember them
Driveway?
asking for more. Eileen or Lucy, is this sufficient detail with what you need for the record?
I think so. I mean, if your engineer was here, the question I would have would be to double check that that gravel base, the compacted gravel base is permeable enough to get water through, but I think as far as the detail goes, this is fine. And I would assume it is, it's gravel.
I would expect it to be on a looser gravel base for actual, where's the, I mean, is the water's going down to a looser gravel, or is it going into something like a
Where is this?
chamber, a
It's-
dry well?
It's just going down there. But this is
Right.
also they were reducing the impervious, so this is just something we asked for to capture some water, so it could be arguably directing water out also.
This wasn't the discussion we were having about the water table for the dwelling itself. This was for the construction, I believe, so.
I think we're fine.
I think it's fine,
got
yeah.
the- Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
This is the driveway.
Thank you. So that's the last one I have image for. Lucy, thank you. The last item was in regards to the water table and water mitigation, since the proposed depth of the basement was about 8 feet for the foundation, and the water table is about 4 feet below the surface. That item, we do not have anything on paper yet, still working that out with the architect, but the plan is to install a French drain system with a dry well basin to capture that water away from the dwelling. So again, I don't have that on paper yet, but that is the plan. So if there's any feedback now before that gets on paper, I'm happy to take it. That is what our proposed
He said
mitigation
he does
is.
have chambers, right?
It was previously proposed, yeah.
We have comments on that.
Well, our comments, just as staff, would be, he knows he has to do a system that's approved by the building commissioner for the groundwater. Our comment would be just to make sure that if they're considering combining that with the stormwater system, mitigation system, that has to be sized big enough for both. You can't just put it in and assume it's going to work, because it won't.
Okay, let's see if there's any other comments. Indra?
Just quick, that I understand. So you said that water table is 4 feet below the surface,
Yes,
and the basement is below that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Is there confusion about how that's allowed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought we had to have the base of the foundation
We do.
at the water level or higher.
We do, but that's what I'm saying about the building commissioner. What he tells people is, if you are proposing to build in the groundwater, you have to show an engineered plan, stamped, signed, the whole lot, to show how you're mitigating that stormwater. It has to go somewhere. I know, I'm not thrilled with it either, but that's his sort of compromise on that, I suppose you might say.
How is that stormwater? It's groundwater.
It's not stormwater. What I'm saying is, he has designed a system for stormwater, and they can't, which is, and usually when people design for stormwater, it's a certain size, it's this big, but, so you can't put the groundwater in there too, because it won't be big enough. I'm just saying they have to be separate, or
So
else
you-
this one has to be big enough.
I don't really understand, but do you have to pump that groundwater out continuously, or else your basement fills with groundwater to the depth of 4 feet?
Well, I don't know, because otherwise, what would happen? The water pressure will go up, and the slab will crack, and
A lot of houses are built like that, and the cellar is designed to keep the water out.
Right.
Oh.
It's a waterproof coating around the
Right.
outside of the cellar and the foundation, so that in theory, it holds the water back passively. But you gotta
And
have
is this
protection
a
in
good
case it
solution?
doesn't.
I mean, you're a water engineer guy.
no, I'm not water
If
engineer.
there's
I'm
a
structural
factor-
engineer, but the slab, concrete slab, as Bill was saying, you have to have the water away from the slab. But, doesn't matter what you do, some water will go there.
So is this a French drain
And that's
around the whole basement? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Exactly.
And then there's a place to pump the water out?
Yes.
And the building department is okay with that?
Yes.
Well, they haven't approved it yet because he hasn't designed it yet.
Okay.
Well, I have to have approval from here first before I can bring it to the building department, correct?
Right, yeah.
So that is the intent, and yes, approved here, approved there as well.
Is that drain system on the outside of the foundation or on the inside of the foundation, in the cellar?
It should be outside the foundation, but I get it. Still need to get it written out.
Yeah.
They do it both ways.
I have seen both, yeah, inside and outside, but
Inside.
outside is better.
Inside is usually after the fact, after the house is
Right,
built and
right.
having problems. Outside is the more
Outside.
preventative way, yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, on this side, Ed? Sarah, anything?
No.
Foundations are waterproofed. They get a coating, and they're built so that hopefully he's not going to get water in his basement.
So,
But he has to be
Nobody
able
wants
to
that.
deal with it in case.
so I have a question. The intent of that paver detail is to capture water at the end of the driveway, is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
And to infiltrate it so it doesn't go into the street?
Yes.
Right. So my question is, may not know the answer to this, your engineer might. Do we need to have a specification on the stone to allow that to happen? Because if theoretically, if there's no specification, he could use something as small as stone dust, and then it becomes impervious.
Yeah, the
Okay.
engineer will come up with
So,
wide ratio.
so I'm wondering,
The pavers do specify an inch between them, I think, right?
no, not an inch between them, underneath, the compacted gravel. Does there have to be a specification on it? Because if you use very small gravel, quarter-inch gravel, essentially becomes impervious, and that defeats the whole purpose.
Are you able to bring that back up? Just for reference?
See what it said, it might have said something about that.
Did he say anything? I mean, I don't have it in front
Would
of me.
like to
I
check.
don't either.
It just says compacted gravel base,
Okay.
but we can condition that.
6 to 8 inch compacted ground base, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
Yeah.
I would just suggest your engineer provide a spec for the contractor to follow, of what it should be.
A spec for the size of the gravel?
Right.
Okay.
For adequate drainage.
So that it works properly. There's probably a range over which it works, but you don't want to have it to be impervious, then all that dirty stormwater goes into the street theoretically. Okay? That's all I have. Is there anyone, this is 11 Sears Street, I think, is there anybody in the audience that has a question, a comment? It's a public hearing, so you're entitled to say something. I guess not.
I
Okay.
have one more question. It's not clear to me, where is the output from the sump pump going?
They haven't designed that yet.
Well,
Oh, do you know?
Are we
No, no.
approving this tonight?
We would suggest not.
Oh, okay, good, good, all
What
right.
did you say?
I asked if we were approving it tonight. Where's the output of the sump pump going? We don't know yet.
All right, so it looks to me like we could wrap this up and bring it to a vote at the next meeting. You okay with that?
Yep.
gravel size specification and the details on the French drain system.
Right.
Okay, can do.
Okay, I think that wraps it up, and we'll want a location on the discharge of the water.
Yep.
Okay.
This is for the mitigation, correct, not the?
Yes.
Yes, yes. All right. So if there's nothing further, then we'll continue it for another 2 weeks, which time we'll plan to wrap it up. Could I have a motion to continue the hearing for 11 Sears Street, DEP file number 122-731, to the April 23rd meeting of the Conservation Commission? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Ed, you in favor? 600.
I distracted him, sorry about that.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Have a good evening. All right, we're down to item number 6, and this is a new hearing. We have notices given that the commission will hold a public hearing on Thursday, April 9th, and it's to take all information related to a notice of intent filed by Mick Gandhi for the construction of a new commercial building and associated stormwater and utility upgrades. It's located at 85 Wilmington Road. The proposed work is within a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetland pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, which is the Wetlands Protection Act, and Burlington Bylaw, Article 14, and as within the buffer to isolated wetland pursuant to Burlington Bylaw, Article 14. The commission will be reviewing information relative to the application and may issue an order of conditions and a Burlington Wetlands permit. The application's available by going to the Conservation Commission website and clicking on the appropriate link for that material. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
So please introduce yourselves.
Absolutely. So for your records, my name is Andrew Tebow. I'm a wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting, and I also have David Robinson with me from Allen & Major, our civil engineer, and the landowner is with us here tonight as well. Eileen and Lucy, do you guys mind sharing the site plan on the screen?
Yep. Give me 1 second.
No rush. I think
I want to point out to the two people that are here to watch this, if you want to move over here and face the screen or something where you can see it better, you're welcome to.
Or get closer, yeah.
I'm comfortable.
Oh, no, we meant the neighbors.
People behind.
Oh, the name, sorry.
And there's two neighbors that are wanting it. If you can see it from there, fine. If you want to move up, go right ahead. He's going to show the drawing up there in a minute.
Loading. Have you come? Okay.
And if you'd like us to point to anything, just let us know.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think sheet C102 is fine. It's the layout plan. I know the commission's familiar with this property, so I think we can go everything off of that.
Come on.
Excuse
It's
me.
moving real slow. Oh, I also can't see the very, 101.
Well, everything was combined in one thing.
Oh, I
this
also, I
application.
extracted
Oh, you
just
did?
those site plans and it still is taking
So
its
why
sweet
is it
time.
taking so long?
Perfect. Yeah, that's good right there. We can go off that.
Okay. We can motor around as needed.
Perfect. Yeah, so to kick things off, this is 85 Wilmington Road that you see on the screen here. It's better known as Plaza 62. As the commission is aware, it's a 3.5-acre parcel. It's developed with an L-shaped retail building right now and surface parking throughout the site. You'll likely remember this lot very well because we actually just wrapped up the NRED on this property with you guys. We closed that out and it was issued January 8th of this year. So the wetlands that you see on the site plan here were confirmed in January, so we have them valid for the next 3 years. So this is not a perfect north arrow, it's angled a bit to the side, but on Plan East is our main wetland system. It's a bordering vegetated wetland. And then Plan Northwest, which is a little bit off the screen right here. If we can zoom out, there is an isolated
If it's
wetland.
convenient for you, you can go up to the thing and you can move the screen around and point and stuff.
That's pretty fancy. That might be helpful.
We like it.
You can also annotate if you want.
Yeah, let me approve the annotation.
I don't think we'll need to for my presentation, but it might be helpful, especially if we have neighbors who can point to things.
Yeah.
So, as I was explaining, the north arrow is angled this way, so when I say Plan East, I'm really just meaning the right side. But this is Wilmington Road down here. So that bordering vegetated wetland system I referenced is the line that we see right here. It spans the whole eastern portion of the property. And then there is an isolated wetland that we confirmed up in the corner right here. So because this is a commercial lot, these wetlands both have a 20-foot no disturb zone and a 50-foot no build zone, in addition to the 100-foot buffer zone. So that was all wrapped up sort of in anticipation of this, so we can correctly quantify and site the project to be compliant with the local buffer zones. So the notice of intent before you today is to develop 2 new commercial buildings on the property. One will be a standalone building, one will connect to the existing. So as I mentioned, it's an L-shaped development right now. On this plan, it's shown as these squares that are blocked by a tenant, but this is an existing building with surface parking in the center of the site with the wetlands on the exteriors. So there's a few main portions of this project. The first is to construct the 2 buildings as additions, and the second is to repave, restripe, to really clean up the property. So the intent is to develop the property with a couple additional buildings, as well as really revitalize it, clean everything up, and get it very up to date. So I'll start with the work that's within the buffer zone. So as I mentioned, the isolated wetland is up here in the northwestern corner. A 20-foot no disturb is on my finger here, 50-foot no build, and a 100-foot buffer zone here. So building 1 is the commercial building that takes this from an L-shaped plaza to a U-shape. So it's intended to connect to the existing development and then develop down, actually away from the buffer zone. So the building itself is about 13,900 square feet. Only about 1,600 square feet of that is within the buffer zone that we see right here. They also propose to add a little gravel pathway right here. So the dumpster pad that we see right here is existing. So the idea is to set the building as far into the buffer zone as possible. 1,600 square feet will be within, and this will be it's a pervious gravel walkway just to service the dumpster, and it stays fully out of that 50-foot no-build zone. Also worth noting, a few of us had a sidewalk yesterday where we walked on an existing gravel road that takes you all the way around the development. So that gravel road, it's hard to see on this plan, but it exists roughly through the 20 to 50 right here. That's sort of our existing limit of disturbance in this area. So this is designed to not go past that gravel road, only to work within those developed areas. And building 2 is located entirely outside of the buffer zone. It's a standalone building on the lot's frontage right along Wilmington Road. It's about a 3,100 square foot building. But as I mentioned, that 100-foot buffer zone to the BBW is on my finger right here. So the building's entirely without. The only work that's within the buffer zone that's related to this building is just a redoing of the walkway right here. So there's a 4-foot concrete walkway that's at the edges of the 100-foot buffer zone. It's on the development side of the existing standalone daycare facility there, so it's not moving any closer to the wetlands, it's reworking the surfaces within the site. And then they do need a new dumpster pad. So that was designed, the existing gravel road that I mentioned is on the eastern side. So we made sure that that dumpster pad was within the current maintained areas, and that no portions of this project are moving any closer to the wetlands than current conditions. So as it's designed, this fully stays out of the 20, there's no new buildings going within the 50, and using that gravel road as sort of the existing limit of impact. Everything is sited on the development side of that road. Before I kick things over for a quick stormwater recap, having worked with this commission in the past, I know we're also always looking to quantify tree clearing and landscaping. So the good news with this project is because this lot really is primarily developed, there is no tree clearing occurring within the buffer zone. The jurisdictional area is up here. We had seen it yesterday on the site walk. It's primarily an overgrown, kind of viney, bittersweet area up here. It's maintained around the sides of the property, all the way until we're out of the buffer zone. Fully outside the buffer zone, so not necessarily within the jurisdiction of this presentation, but always good to note is there are 10 trees that are being removed on the southern portions of this building here. They're mostly older pines. They're in all right condition. We saw them yesterday on the sidewalk. But there is a landscaping plan that proposes to put in 29 trees, 29 shrubs, and now a bunch of herbaceous plantings throughout the site. There is a landscaping plan attached to it. We can go over that at a later, I don't get to show it here. But the idea is that the landscaping plan puts trees and shrubs behind the buildings for screening, along the frontage, with a couple in the buffer zone as well. So although it's not necessarily within the jurisdiction of what we're moving in the buffer zone, the trees that are to be removed are still proposed to be replanted through the landscaping plan. So that's a high-level overview of the project itself. We have David Robinson, our engineer, who can walk us through stormwater. So with that, I'll kick it over.
Before you do that, could you tell the people who are here listening, or people who are listening,
Yes.
is this a single story or a double story?
Yes, single story, so it's in the match of the existing that we see.
And
today.
they may be interested in if there are plans in place for the kind of use for that space?
Absolutely. I'll let the property owner speak to that if I miss anything, but I know that it's primarily restaurant. I know there's places like ice cream places coming in, cookie place coming in, acai bowls, trying to get those other ones. But the idea is to be restaurant, food, bakeries, things like that are, I believe already some of them are already leased to come in. So the plan is that they have this locked in and there should be some of that coming to the area. But if I missed any, please feel free to jump in.
Very good. Okay.
Yep, that was great. Thank you, Andrew. Again, for the record, David Robinson. I'm a
Yes.
project manager with Allen and Major Associates. We are the record civil engineers and landscape architects for the notice of intent before you. I'll quickly walk through the site plans. Maybe we can just start at the erosion control plan, which is sheet 5 of the PDF. Just quickly walk through the erosion control measures just to start. One more right there. Perfect, thank you. So yeah, we did put together an erosion control plan to stabilize the site during construction. We're proposing a sediment track-out pad at the construction entrance. And we are going to line any down gradient catch basins with silt sacks, and also put some silt fencing along the planned west side of the site. Those 10 trees to be removed are shown in the bottom left-hand corner, which will be replaced by the 29 trees. And if you can move to the next sheet, which is the site preparation and demolition plan. This is our site prep and demo. I think the most important thing to note here is that we're saw cutting the existing pavement, we're going to mill and overlay that central area because the grades don't really need to change in there. And then the area where we're proposing our drainage system, it's going to be a full depth reclamation. There is some fill out on the site that we encountered while we were performing stormwater test pits that were witnessed by the Board of Health. We did get approval from the Board of Health as well. All of that fill will be removed, and the top of the fill actually comes down to about 2 inches above the bottom of the drainage system, so all that fill will be removed. I think another important thing to note is that the existing stormwater system on site basically consists of 3 catch basins on the plan north of the site plan here. Those are, the stormwater that leaves the site is not treated. There are no hydrodynamic water quality separators on site currently, and the stormwater runoff from the site runs untreated to the northeast corner to the wetlands via a 12-inch corrugated metal pipe underneath the existing building. So to rectify that, we are proposing to, you can actually scroll down to the stormwater plan if you don't mind. To rectify the existing untreated flow to the wetlands, we're going to keep the catch basin locations where they are, reutilizing the existing grading, so maintaining those low points. But now the stormwater so we're going to pull out the existing catch basins, put new ones in the same locations at the low points, and then treat all the water using 3 different water quality units, which funnels the treated stormwater to a large proposed drainage system that you see on the left-hand side of the plan. So all water will be treated before it runs to the drainage system, and the roof runoff runs directly into the stormwater system. It's considered clean. There's no need to treat that. However, for building 2, the roof runoff does run through the quality unit. There's no harm there, but that's just kind of the way that the drainage laid out. So the drainage system is designed to be an infiltration system, so it'll be recharging the groundwater with the stormwater runoff instead of just directly discharging the untreated stormwater to the wetlands, which will help to recharge the wetlands. There is a emergency overflow connection to the MS4 shown. There is good sandy material out there to support the infiltration, and we did perform a groundwater mounding analysis. Since we have less than 4 feet of vertical separation to the estimated seasonally high groundwater table, which shows that the system drains down below the stormwater drains down below the level of the system at the end of this 72-hour drawdown period. I think that's a good overview on the stormwater. If you want to scoot to the next sheet, the utility plan, I'll just quickly walk through. As Andrew mentioned, there's a number of restaurants going in. Each building has a dedicated and adequately sized grease trap to handle the kitchen flows. We did those approved by the Board of Health about 2 weeks ago. And then just typical utilities tying into the existing infrastructure on site: water, tel data, electric, sewer, the grease traps, and gas. We're also proposing a couple new utility light poles on site to keep the site well lit. And if you run to the third to last sheet, I can quickly show you the landscaping plan that we're proposing to replace the trees that are to be removed. As Andrew mentioned, there's 29 trees proposed, whereas we're removing 10 trees, so there's a good ratio of replacement. You can see on the left-hand side that there's shrubs and trees along Prouty Road to screen the rear of Building 1. There's shrubs and trees in the perimeter landscaped areas, and then there are shrubs and trees behind proposed Building 2 to the south there to help screen the building. And real quick, just for aesthetics purposes, proposed Building 2 along Wilmington Road is going to have a really nice, like, windows, and it's going to be a nice looking building when you're driving by on the street. It'll be screened by landscaping, and it's not just like a brick wall or something like that. One final item for the site: there is an existing gravel driveway that wraps around the back for access to the refuse collection areas. We'll be screening the existing dumpsters. None of that is changing, but we are adding one dumpster at the bottom right-hand corner. They're all supported on concrete pads. And I believe that you looked at that yesterday at the site walk. I think that's everything I have now. I'd like to open it up to questions and comments from the board at this time.
All right, could you please go a little bit more slowly over the stormwater routing, just so everyone's clear what is going where? You can go up there and point, and
Yeah.
that is touch sensitive over here.
This one? Oh, only this one?
I think so.
Well, it might be, but it's easier for the commission to see
Sure.
that one. There's a shine on this one.
So it would be helpful if you could, let's take each building and each parking, and the parking lot.
Sure.
And explain where each is going and where it ends up. It would be very helpful.
Sure, so here's obviously the parking lot. Everything pitches to low points. There's catch basins here, here, 3 at the rear here. So all of the parking lot area will be captured by a catch basin. There's even one over here. And building 2 in this sort of area of the catch basins all flow this way through a water quality unit here and into the drainage system. There's an isolator row hatched out here and another one here at the inlet.
So
of the system.
building 2 is going to the rooftop is going to the isolator system.
Building 2 goes through a water, it discharges here, runs this way through a water quality unit with an isolator row. Yep. So building 2 runs this way onto this end of the
Okay.
drainage system.
All right.
The proposed building 1, you can see the 3 roof leaders that tie directly into the drainage system. Since it's clean roof runoff, it doesn't need to run through a water quality unit per Mass DEP regs. And then these 3 catch basins, which were existing, are going to be replaced. These 2 catch basins run through a water quality unit here. This catch basin is actually a water quality unit with an inlet grate. So water just goes in through the top, it's treated by the water quality unit, discharges to the drain manhole, and all of the inlets have an isolator row, which helps to trap the sediment, and it makes it easier to factor out when you're maintaining your stormwater.
So it's going to the isolator row on your drawing here?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
There's 2 isolator
Yeah,
rows here.
got it, see it.
Where is the water quality unit on the bottom? I can't seem to find it.
Right here.
Right there.
It's labeled DMH18W.
Oh, there's the WQU.
Yep.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So basically, you always want it like at the end of your chain, so it's the last thing that treats the water before it discharges to the infiltration system.
And what about, could you talk about the existing buildings? What's going on there?
Yep, so the existing buildings, we're not changing any of the drainage patterns. They discharge via downspouts to the rear of the site, and there is that gravel road
Right.
at the rear. I think you guys saw that at the walk yesterday.
Right, okay.
But we're not changing that.
Okay, that was helpful, thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so first we'll go to comments from either Eileen or Lucy, and then we'll see if the commissions, and we'll take note of issues that need to be responded to, so you go away with as complete a list as possible.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay?
Okay, so I did actually give a list of some questions that I had a couple of days ago, some of which you did touch on, and I still have some remaining.
Sure.
So, as they explained, building two new buildings with fairly significant stormwater treatment, because this is going to be treated as new development under the stormwater standards. The landscaping, 29 trees, 29 shrubs and ground cover on the landscaping plan, on the whole, I think that's pretty solid. My only comment on that would be, you've got a number of cultivars in there, and we would prefer that they be straight species.
Okay.
Even if you're open to it, even though some of them they're outside the buffer, we would just,
Okay, even if it's a native cultivar, you want the,
yeah,
okay,
it would be our preference. It's up to the commission, though.
sure.
Then when it comes to stormwater, as they described, a great big system with 192 chambers, is that right? That sounds like.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Whatever that says, 192 Coltec.
Yeah, a lot of chambers. I like the fact that so much of it's going through the water quality units and the isolated rows. It's pretty solid. One concern that I have is that while they are reducing the rate of stormwater in the post condition, except for at the 10-year, it's basically the same. They're the volume is not being reduced. In the 100-year storm, it's actually being increased a little bit. So that does not comply with our stormwater bylaw.
Can I speak to that quickly? That's a good point. Basically, what Eileen's saying is that typically you want to reduce both your peak rates of runoff, which is like the flow leaving the site, and the volume of water. And for the 100-year storm, for the what's leaving the site, it was an increase of about 1.4%. But I think that there's a really easy fix to that, and that involves raising the weir elevation from the outlet control structure. You may only need to be 1/10 of a foot, and what that's going to do is that's going to hold back a greater volume on site to be infiltrated into the ground and recharge the groundwater. I did check, there's plenty of room to raise it up, so we're going to bring that up. Hold it back a little bit more, less will overflow into the MS4, and more will be retained on site to
Of where is this, you're going to do that?
There's this structure at the bottom left-hand corner, right before it discharges
Got it.
to the municipal system known as the MS4. That's an outlet control structure. Basically, that controls everything leaving the infiltration system via a weir through the middle of the drain manhole structure. And we play around with the height of that to ensure that enough water is being held back so that we're decreasing the rates of flow and volume leaving the site. So in our next submission, we'll look at adjusting that weir height a little bit higher to hold more back in so we meet that 100-year volume.
I appreciate that, because that was my bigger concern, is that, you know, we deal a lot with the MS4
Sure.
coordination. So we don't want, even if it's treated, we prefer that you're not discharging to the MS4 where you can do so.
I completely understand, and there is room to do that.
Let me see. You've actually dealt with a lot of my points, so that's a good one. I had the question about the rooftop water. You dealt with that. That I did want a little bit more clarification, or the commission might want some more clarification on how the mounding analysis works.
Yeah.
Because what they were showing is that the groundwater table is only actually about 2 feet below the chambers, which is the minimum, and you need to do a grounding analysis if it's anything less than 4 feet differential.
So what kind of
right?
analysis?
It's a mounding analysis. Can you just, before you explain, can you just let me get through the rest of my questions so we can do that
Yes,
together?
and then we can go to the chart.
It's a mounding analysis. He mentioned it, and there's a one-page kind of summary in the report, which I've only looked at once or twice before.
It's detailed. Yeah.
So I would appreciate it if you could explain a little bit about how that, how it works. I mentioned the checklist. I had some questions about the long-term pollution prevention plan. It wasn't actually in the, I mean, maybe you intend for it to be like more of an overall thing, an umbrella term, but I'd need a clarification on that. The O&M plan didn't include cleaning the isolator row, so that's probably going to be an update. I know you have that on your list.
What about the isolator roll?
They have an operation and maintenance plan for the various components of the system, but they just didn't happen to include something for cleaning the isolator row. That usually needs to be, I think, vacuum cleaned to get that cleaned separately. It itself is catching a lot of the debris from going into the chambers. That's what the isolator row is
Yep.
doing. If that's too simplistic, you can.
No, totally. I actually
can-
brought the O&M for the correct isolator well. We'll include that in our next submission.
I did have a question as well about the phosphorus loading, and as I said, it's not that I don't think that you'll meet the numbers, I just, there were some discrepancies there. So if you would all sort of indulge us, can we have a little explanation of how they are making it work with such a small distance
Sure.
to the
The mounding
the
analysis?
groundwater? Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's helpful if we pull up the drainage report and just have something to look at that I can explain. I don't want to get too involved into it, but I'll try and give a quick overview because I can answer a lot of these questions very quickly. Thank you.
And if we don't understand, maybe another thing would be that you send us something to look at so that we can all understand it
Yep.
better, like a nice video.
Yep.
Let's try
try 130.
So
Is,
if you, oh boy,
It's down right at the very end.
Oh, it's at the end.
Yeah.
did you compile everything?
It's all in one booklet. It's a big one.
Yeah.
It was a really impressive document.
Yeah, so if you scroll way up on the drainage report,
Is it at the top of the drainage report or at the end?
No, it's at the bottom.
you're
It was one of
It's,
the last
so,
pages.
yeah, so the long-term pollution prevention plan was included in the drainage report under section 2.0. There is actually a LTPP provided.
There was.
Yeah, on my drainage report, it was on PDF page 27. So if you scroll way up, maybe like dozens of sheets.
Well, if it's there then, in that case.
Yeah, I can just show you very
Now
quickly.
Now you're finding the pollution prevention plan?
I'm
Because
just-
you were on the Manning
I'm just
analysis.
driving.
Yeah, it's up in section 2 and you're in section
Okay.
4. It's like 100 sheets up. Well, maybe we
That's
don't need to
okay.
get into that and we can look at
Let's
that
not worry
at
about
another
that.
time. But it's in there if you look on page 27 of the, I can send you just.
I made a note of that, page 27, PDF.
We've scared Adobe.
Oh, no.
She's nervous.
Oh.
Are
Well,
you
maybe
going to
I can.
provide an explanation of the mounting analysis?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure anyone here
Yep,
knows
I
anything about it.
definitely can. You're going to have to scroll down.
Yeah. Oh, she's loaded again. Okay, great.
Oh, I'm having.
So actually that was, okay, scroll down
We're
further.
almost there.
Down, it's like calculations that's all marked up with red text in Adobe, so we explained every single line item for it, but it's still very complicated, just like the phosphorus calcs.
Well,
Keep
maybe you
going
can
down.
just explain to the commission what it,
Right, sorry, keep going, no, go up, sorry. It's just easier if it's on the page in front of me,
okay, all right.
or else you're gonna,
Oh, I forgot that this has a lag. I apologize.
right here.
Great.
If you can zoom out.
Yes.
Okay, so a mounting analysis is required when your seasonally high groundwater table is less than 4 feet from the bottom of your system. You always need to maintain 2 feet from the seasonally high groundwater to the lowest point of your system. What happens is when, in large storm events, when stormwater is channeled into this infiltration system, it has a finite length and width. You get a mound of groundwater in the center that comes up to a high point. And basically, the purpose of the mounding analysis is to prove that 72 hours after the 24-hour storm event, that the groundwater elevation is below the 2 feet from the bottom of the system. So if you look at this drawing, basically underneath here are all the calculations that we look at. It's the length and width of the system, it's the porosity of the soils, it's different coefficients for the soil type. In this case, we have sand as our native soils. And this is time on the bottom, day 0, day 1, which peaks from the 24-hour storm, goes up the 24-hour storm, and then your drawdown is 72 hours or 3 days after that. And the red line here is the system invert. It's 2 feet above the groundwater table. This is the seasonally high groundwater table at the bottom. So what you're looking at is at the end of 4 days, you want to ensure that the elevation of your groundwater is below that 2 foot, so that the water's not going up into the system and it can't drain down. It needs somewhere to drain down. So here's day 0, water comes into the system, it's filling up, as it hits its high point, it's backing up into the system, and then it has the 72 hours to drain down. You can see it slowly drains down, and after the end of 3 days, after the end of the storm, it's at 1.9 feet of separation, whereas you need 2 as the minimum. So in other words, the mound drains down enough to be below the bottom of the.
With what you've given us so far on that, let's see if the commission has any questions yet. Any questions regarding,
I just want to make sure I understand it. So it's permissible for the groundwater to actually rise up into the infiltration chamber as long as it decays down within 72 hours?
That's exactly right.
but if at the peak of the mound, it's into the infiltration chamber, does that compromise the ability of the infiltration chamber to work properly, causing it to overflow through the overflow?
Well, it would overflow. If it's backing up, if it's such a big storm event that it's full and it's backing up into the system, it's going to hit the overflow.
And that's considered normal?
Yeah, yes, yep, that is within the regs.
Okay. Got it.
And we did invest in like specialized groundwater mounting analysis software. We took a whole day and trained our company on how to use it, and it's called the Hantouche method.
Is this the first time you've used it? or the
No.
first I was going to say,
No, it's been years.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we just get a clarification on something?
Please do.
You said 72 hours?
Mhm.
But that's showing 4 days.
Yep, so it's 72 hours after the 24-hour storm. So it's one day is
Got
it
it.
fills up for 24 hours, that's your storm event. And then the drawdown, like you may see them in the DEP standard calculations, you want to make sure that the system's drawing down within 72 hours.
Is this an engineering requirement that's new, or is this something that's been around a while?
It's something that's been enforced more and more, especially during peer reviews in the last few years. But the regulation's been around for over a decade.
I see, so,
It's just one of those things that people don't necessarily key into.
all right, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Is this something that would actually occur only on the 100-year storm, the maximum storm, or a little earlier? What is this graph showing?
We look at, that's a very good question. If you scroll down, I think we have the storm event.
Oh, I think it was on the same
Oops,
page.
yes,
It's all- it was only-
scroll down on the
This
same
one, I didn't
page.
understand.
All this stuff.
41.
Yeah.
There it is.
What do we say here? I know. It's we're looking at the volume of water that's below the lowest orifice. So it's by volume. So it's what's below the weir of the outlet control system, which is basically what's being infiltrated into the ground. We don't care about the water that's overtopping and going up to the MS4 because that's not infiltrating into the ground and contributing to the mound.
So if you change where the weir is, which is what you said you could do, will this have to be tweaked?
We'll have to look at it.
Okay.
We'll have to look at that.
I'm sorry, could you hear me when I asked that question? Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to present before we ask questions or comments?
I believe we're good for questions.
Okay. Eileen, are you all set
I
for now?
am.
All right, so Indra, do you have any?
I have a quick question, is the stormwater runoff, you said from the parking and the building two, southeast corner, catching, and what happens to the rest of the parking?
The rest of the site?
Right.
Off the back?
Right,
Those are from the existing buildings, and those are the downspouts that you saw yesterday. We're not touching that.
Oh, you're-
We're not changing that.
okay,
So everything that's new is being captured and treated,
okay, all right,
And the entire parking lot.
the whole parking lot.
thank you.
All right, Rob,
I guess, where's the overflow outlet
Yep.
for the system located? Is
Yep.
it down near the entrance?
So the outlet control structure is right there in that bottom left-hand corner by the drainage. This is the overflow pipe, and then we have a manhole that's going on an existing drain line in the street, affecting the sidewalk.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering about that, because I think of the entire sort of site, the elevation sort of gets lower out towards that exit.
It's pretty flat, that
Is it
whole
pretty
site.
flat?
Yeah, it's extremely flat. There's not a significant change, it's maybe a foot or two across the entire site.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess one more thing too, though it's not really required, it's just if the entire parking site is being redone with lights and everything, if there's any sort of like green permeable things in the parking lot. So I understand it's somewhat of a small parking lot, but those are sort of,
The only lights that we're doing are these two light poles that you see in the middle that have four heads on top, just to throw light out. But there's green areas on the perimeter of the site.
but with sort of within the side, like it seems like there's a lot of bollards and stuff. but
Yeah.
Sort of like, plantable bollards or anything sort of breaking up the area or?
The fire lanes are really small out there.
Yeah.
We need to meet our minimum parking.
Okay.
so. But there is existing bollards along the building currently, so we're just kind of matching that same scheme. And we did get approval from the fire department on running the fire truck through there and the layout that we proposed. So we did get that on the permitting portal.
Okay, let's go to Ed. Have any questions on this? How about Sarah?
I'm just curious how you clean that extremely long isolator row. I mean, does it have a manhole that a person can go down there and do it, or is it just done remotely by a Vector?
It's remotely by a Vector.
Is it
And
like
what-
macroscopic chunks of trash, or is it more like silage that you're trying to get rid of?
There shouldn't be any trash in there because the catch basins have hoods, and the water quality units really do a good job of that first flush of sediment and hydrocarbons really get trapped in the water quality units. And what we do is we put, there's a manhole on the end of each of the isolator rows with a large diameter pipe. It's usually 24 inches, and they literally have like an 8-inch vacuum. It's very powerful, and they literally shove it down that and run it the length. And what you find, honestly, is that a lot of times the sediment kind of kicks, it stays in the isolator row, but it kicks to like one end or the other based on how it's flowing in. So a lot of times it accumulates in one area, and it's not like dispersed with that, whatever it is, 100 and something feet.
Okay. All set? Bill?
I want to follow up on something that Rob asked, the overflow. Just to be clear, where does that actually go when it leaves the property? Is there go to an existing underground pipe, or does it dump in the street? What does it do?
Existing underground pipe.
Is that a sewer pipe or a
It's a drain, it would be stormwater.
storm drain?
Yeah,
Pipe, okay.
stormwater pipe.
One other question and then a comment. The other question is, with all this construction and redoing the whole parking lot, you going to be able to stay open for the other businesses?
Yes, they are. So we're going to have temporary fencing up, and that's partially why the majority of the site is just going to be milled and overlain and not, digging the entire parking lot up. But yes, they are going to stay open. Right now, there's not a whole lot of traffic in and out of the site. So I believe we're working on this with the planning board, but we're going to try and maintain the minimum required parking for the existing
Okay.
buildings there now, which I believe is only 60 stalls are needed, whereas we're proposing 117 to facilitate the proposed plaza. So we will stay open, and we will maintain a parking area during
So I
construction.
may have to walk a little further from my car to get my pizza
You might need to.
sometime. All right. Okay. And the last thing, I wanted to make a comment. I'd like to, commend Mr. Gandhi for taking on this project. I think investing in the town of Burlington, where he said he lives, I think it's great, and it'll have half a dozen or more small businesses brought into the town. I think it's good for the community. So, thank you.
All right. I'd like to ask a few questions about stormwater and hit a few other topics.
Sure.
On building number one, the stormwater off the roof, it's going directly, there's 3 lines, it looks like, I think. It's going directly into the infiltration chamber. That water is not going into the isolator row, is it?
That's correct. The isolator row is really for sediment
I know that.
accumulation, so it's
So
not going.
that roof water is not disturbing the isolator row and
Oh.
churning it up?
That's correct. There's two rows of chambers.
Right.
Before the isolator row. And the isolator row is basically just a piece of like fabric
Right.
that just holds the sediment on top so it doesn't go into the crushed stone underneath and clog it up.
Right.
And there's no direct connection. The chambers go to the bottom to the top of the crushed stone. The crushed stone underneath fills up with water and kind of like comes up underneath it.
But this water is not being fed into the isolator row,
Correct.
Okay.
There's 2 rows of,
and it's not being treated because it doesn't need to be treated?
because it's clean roof runoff, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Now let's go to building number 2. I have a
Sure.
similar question.
Yep.
You are taking the rooftop water, am I mistaken when I read this, that you're mixing it with the parking lot runoff?
That's correct.
So, and then you're feeding that into the isolator row?
Through the water quality unit first, and then into the isolator row, yes.
Okay, is there a reason, would you get enhanced performance by separating the two, by taking the rooftop water, putting into the non-isolator part of the chamber, it'd be one extra pipe.
Yeah.
And that way you would be able to take the stuff, the dirty stuff, and not churn it up as much, and I don't know if it's better or not, I'm just asking.
It's a good question. I think it's one half dozen to the other. It's a small building roof. It's only 3,000 square feet. If it were
Yeah.
30,000 square, which is, a small percentage of area compared to the parking lot. If it were a bigger building, it might make sense.
I see.
We can look at just routing that roof drain from building 2 directly into the stormwater system, not in the isolator row. But technically, as we have it designed, it meets the regulations. It's enhanced treatment that's not really needed, but it's like a bonus. But it's a good point.
Yeah, I do understand your point about the 3,000 square feet versus the area of the parking lot.
Sure,
Much
yeah.
better. I do understand that, though. Okay, so why don't you take a look at it, and you can tell us what you think.
Can I add something about the parking lot? I was
Yes.
trying to open up the PDF, but I'm having trouble with my computer. Can you remind us, this is a LUPL, right?
Yes, due to its,
Can you just remind them what that is?
yeah, LUPL is a land use with a higher potential for pollutant loading. A lot of times they're gas stations. They're sites with greater than 1,000 vehicle trips per day, which is what triggers ours. We have about 1,700 vehicle trips per day under proposed conditions. So it is a land use with a higher potential pollutant for, potential for loading, and that's why we have that long-term LTPPP on page 27 of our drainage report. But yes, it's because of the vehicle trips per day.
That affects the design of the infiltration?
No. It's just that extra section of the O&M plan.
No, I have another, no, that's okay. And how is there a plan to handle snow storage? You have limited parking with a whole bunch of extra uses. What do you plan to do with the snow? Are you thinking of removing it, or a large storm? Or are you thinking of, there's a storage area somewhere?
So for smaller storms, snow will be stored in this landscaped area right here.
Yeah?
For very large storms, I've discussed this with the owner. He understands he's going to have a property management company come in and help to remove the snow.
So you haven't submitted a plan like that?
There's, well, we have the typical DEP snow storage guidelines as part of our O&M.
We should just have something on record, usually, for a snow storage.
We can add that to the O&M plan.
Okay.
You actually meant though showing it on the plan, didn't you?
Yeah, usually it's shown on,
Oh, show it on the plan, okay. Yeah, we can show the, we basically like box it off and show the area available.
yeah, I mean, if it's snow storage for 8 inches or less, fine. If it's above 8 inches, to be removed or something like that. I don't know what you want to put on the plan, but,
Is
Yeah.
it currently stored where the buildings are going to go?
That's correct. Is that correct?
Building 2 is not big building. Okay. Can I go point? Want me to point it out?
Yeah, sure.
Nick, could you go to that side, please, because it's easier for everybody to see?
Currently, it's stored just like we're proposing for the new build, and then some of it's stored here. Not really towards here because all the store, everybody parks closer to the businesses that are operating, so I try to keep it in this area. So a little bit of building 1 is where we currently store.
So it's away from the wetlands and sort of in a concentrated area, and
yeah,
we
I think
can...
we need something in writing and something indicated on the plan.
Yep,
Take care of it.
yep.
Good, thanks, Mick.
Plan.
When we were out at the site, we talked a little bit about the potential for adding gravel to the area in back of the old buildings, okay? And right now you have, and I understand there's no work proposed on these buildings, but if you're thinking of adding gravel, do you want to think about somehow not having the existing building rooftop discharges running across it. Instead, somehow tie it in with some kind of a distribution system under the gravel. And if you weren't thinking of it like immediately, but you could incorporate it in a plan and think of it more like a phase 2 at the latter part of the permit period, because you can always get a 3-year, I think you can get a 3-year extension. Otherwise, you have to come back and do it. Is that something you might consider doing, even if it's not in the major phase that you're proposing?
I can discuss it with the client, but for right now, we're not proposing to.
I know that.
Yeah.
All right, so can we put that on the list of being considered? The other question I have is about the wetlands. Are you, a few questions about the wetlands. 3, are the wetlands, would you consider the wetlands that you delineated at the last hearing that we did healthy, number 1? Do they need any adjustments to the hydrology, is the follow-up question. The second is this project changing in a major way the distribution of how water goes into the wetland? And if so, how? And I guess the third is, do we need to adjust how water is being distributed for the hydrology to keep the wetlands healthy? It may be that answer is nothing needs to be done in any of this, but I think it's worth, since it's a hearing, it's worth having you say something.
Absolutely, and I had no questions for myself. It was all stormwater, so it gives me a chance to talk. Absolutely. So I can answer questions 1 and 2, and then I'll have David answer the third question about how the system and the modeling changes the runoff. But I'll start with Plan East, so the bordering vegetated wetland, which is the much larger system in the area. It continues off-site.
And you can go up there and point if you think it's...
Yeah, actually, I don't think I'll need to here, but if anybody's any questions, I definitely can.
Sure.
So that's on the eastern portion of the site. So that's a red maple swamp. It's a wooded BBW. That's actually in pretty exceptional health for its proximity to a commercial development. The area it's pretty heavily groundwater fed, so this time of year in the spring, you see a high level of surface saturation. There's some ponding in the interior portions. So as far as current hydrology levels, it's well supported. It definitely doesn't need anything additional, nor would you want to
It's not
cut.
being maintained by surface runoff.
Correct, exactly. It's groundwater. There is a pipe where some water, but it's more of a discharge point. The actual wetland itself is really groundwater fed.
Got it.
And it's very healthy. So it's additional things, items to note are, very, very low density of invasives, things like that. So it's healthy vegetation and healthy groundwater source. So in that area, my recommendation is no, there isn't anything needed, and the wetland's doing very well, and it's doing well naturally. And then the isolated wetland, for isolated wetlands like this, so this is a very small one, I often say they're really just low spots between the properties. So in this case, it's groundwater fed to the point where it's a much lower elevation, and so it intercepts the water table this time of year. It only holds a few inches of surface water. There's nothing in that wetland that allows it to be a vernal pool. It's really just a couple inches of saturation. Sandy soils infiltrate pretty quickly. But it is healthy for what it is. It's really a low spot between the residential developments to the northwest and our commercial development that has that gravel road nearby. So it does take some surface runoff, but it won't change much in that area because we're not doing anything off the rear of the building. The current drainage patterns back there stay the same. So that wetland, it's much smaller. Its environmental benefits are less, but it's healthy. There's no issues with it, and I don't see this project affecting it in any worse way.
All right, good, thank you. And about the distribution of the hydrology?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we're not changing the clean roof runoff from the existing buildings. Those discharge out the back to the wetlands. But you want clean treated water to recharge the groundwater. As Andrew mentioned, the wetlands are fed by the groundwater. And you want clean water going into the ground to recharge the groundwater and therefore recharge the wetlands. And I think that what we propose is appropriate by eliminating that point discharge under the building to the northeast corner.
So you're eliminating that discharge in the northeast corner?
Yeah. That's going away. That's not allowed.
Will that hurt the wetlands?
That will not. So you'll probably explain this, but the water is going to recharge naturally through the groundwater, which is primarily where those wetlands are fed. And in my opinion, it's actually preferable. We don't really like open discharge points like that. If it can recharge naturally through the groundwater, it's much healthier for the system.
Yeah. It's eliminating scour and erosion too from that point discharge, from that 12-inch pipe. You really just want to feed keep the water on site as much as you can. That's why I talked about raising that weir up, holding more water back.
So what you're saying is that having a discharge right at the wetlands is being replaced by water infiltrating 300 feet away, and that's okay?
Because it'll recharge the groundwater, which is where the system is fed. Yeah.
What? You're saying that's okay because you're infiltrating 300 feet away, but it's still going to get, does the groundwater flow in that direction?
It would
Let's look at the
naturally
grades, yeah.
flow to the
low
low
points.
point of the wetlands.
So I get not the whole site, the portions will flow to the low points, but the eastern portion of the site generally pitches that way gradually before the slope. So yes, it will recharge the groundwater in that area.
So groundwater infiltrated over here will migrate to the wetlands,
Correct.
okay? I mean,
Yeah, no, it's, and I will say this system, since it's so heavily groundwater fed, that surface runoff point, it's not contributing significantly to the hydrology. It's a very small portion of the water that's there, and it's much healthier for it to come naturally through the groundwater than it is to be discharged through a pipe.
all right. You guys are the expert, so I take you guys at your word.
Absolutely.
And how about, I realize that Building 2 is barely in the buffer zone, but I noticed on the isolated wetlands, there was around the back of the building, that a little bit more building is, Building 1 is in the buffer zone. Can we do anything about pulling invasive species or something of that nature? I was thinking, I think it's pretty heavily, I might be wrong, but I thought it was pretty heavily invasive in the buffer zone to the isolated one. Is that something you would consider doing? And Eileen, you want to comment on it at all?
I apologize. I'm not sure I'm still in the meeting, and since I am running the meeting, it's a big deal. So I just got distracted
Yeah, you're
from
not
your
in the
question.
meeting anymore.
I'm not in the meeting.
No.
Is the meeting still running?
Yep.
Have you left the building?
But I'm the host of the meeting, but you're the co-host, so it's okay.
Oh, yes, I'm hosting now.
I'm a little confused
No,
over.
it's okay. I'm sorry. Just let me get back in the meeting. I don't know what happened.
Take your time. It's-
I was afraid because BCAT's on and everything.
We will not
we're in
stop the
middle of a
meeting for
hearing.
technical challenges.
Well, okay. Sorry, just say the question again, Larry. Or maybe Lucy can answer to you.
I've now forgotten.
It was
I was asking about invasive removal. And I was thinking that, I think I saw, I might be wrong, that behind the isolated, the buffer zone of the isolated wetland,
Yeah.
that there was, I thought there was quite a few vines and things like that.
There were.
So I'm wondering if this project could incorporate some invasive removal, and if they might be willing to do it. And it's an ask, right?
That's up to you to ask, and
I mean, so if the commission would like to make that an ask, unless I'm the only one thinking it this way.
And they don't have to answer that tonight, you can answer that at the next meeting.
Yeah, if you could give us some time to speak with the client and kind of review,
Sure.
maybe we come up, with some guidelines.
ruin everything.
Great.
And what's the situation with invasives on the other wetland? I didn't see some, but I mean, I don't really know.
Very, very low density over there. That
That's
area's
what I
very
thought.
healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend any action over there. Certainly happy to talk to the applicant and take a look at that other area. I know there's at least some level around the isolated wetland. I know there was some bittersweet we saw on the walk.
Right.
Eastern side is very healthy.
Okay. That's all I have, thank you. So now we have, are there comments, are there people, either the commissioners that have additional thoughts, or is there anybody in the audience or online that would like to make a comment or has a question about what you heard? Looks like we do not have questions.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so if we're done with any further comments from the commission, want to say anything more? No? All right, here's what I have for a list, see if it matches. With a request to switch out cultivars for native species. There was, you're going to look at raising the outlet like 1/10 of a foot or whatever, so the volumes matched, it's not an increase in volume. There was a clarification, I may get this wrong, clarification of long-term pollution prevention plan, I thought was asked for.
Yeah, I can point to the section that we've submitted in the O and M. It's kind of buried in there, but we did provide it.
Okay.
That's fine. Details on cleaning the isolator row, did we get a request on that?
Yeah, we can include this O and M manual for the isolator row in the updated report.
Was there a discrepancy on phosphorus loadings to meet the stormwater standards?
So there's not. The minimum is 60%. We remove 65%. It's all just done by retaining the stormwater on site in the system. The calculations are they're pretty dense, similar to the groundwater mounting. I'm happy to walk through them, but
Well, I mean, this is to Eileen and Lucy, do we need anything further from them on the phosphorus loadings?
Well, I have seen, now, I'm not good with ground mounding, but I have seen phosphorus
Yeah.
before. I'll go and look again, and if I have trouble, I'll reach out to you directly.
yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know.
I'll just
because
put it as a
I did
question
walk
mark.
through. I did walk through them, and
Okay. You were going to look at the building 2 routing to see whether it's,
route directly to the infiltration
yeah, if
system.
it's on something that you're recommending.
Okay.
Okay. And snow storage, if some details on that on the plan and a response to some kind of plan. You're going to take a look at the drainage, whether you want to add that to this application. I know it's not part of the application of the old buildings. If you want to somehow come up with a little better system than just have them run across the gravel, future gravel. And take a look at the invasives off the isolated wetland. And that's it. Did you have anything else?
Can I add something? Because I forgot to mention it earlier, and it might just be a clarification again. It was about the fill.
Yeah.
I think you're having to remove quite a bit of fill, right? So
Yeah.
what are you putting in, and did you make that clear?
So, yeah, I did at the beginning of my presentation. I think that I had mentioned
Sorry.
that the fill was up to 58 inches below at the maximum point, and it was just 2 inches above the bottom of where we need to excavate for the drainage system. So we'll be removing all of the fill plus 2 inches of native soil to get to the bottom of the system. If you look at test pit 103, and you rectify that existing elevation with the 58 inches of the fill from the Form 11, you'll see it's about, we need to over-excavate the fill by 2 inches to get to the bottom of the system when we excavate for
So
it.
you don't need to add anything, because what's below there is your sand
Is
and loamy stuff.
native, the good native sand.
Eileen, do we need anything more?
No,
We're all set.
no, that
Okay.
was what I needed.
No, it's a good point.
All right, I think that's it. Is there anything else on this for tonight? Would you like to continue for 2 weeks or 4 weeks?
I think we'll go 2 weeks for now, try to answer as many as we can, and if we have to,
And
we'll
then
check
you
in with
can
Eileen.
request 2 more weeks if you need it.
If we need it, yeah, but we'll keep it on, try to be as fast as possible.
All right, could I have a motion to continue the hearing for 85 Wilmington Road from Mick Gandhi to construct new commercial buildings, repave, and provide stormwater utility improvements to the commission's meeting of April 23rd, 2026? Moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
You guys as
Nice job
well,
on the
thank you for your time.
Very nice.
Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, now we're at item number 7. Notice is given, the commission will hold a public hearing to take information related to a notice of intent filed by Crosspoint Associates for the demolition of an existing structure and construction of a new commercial building and improvements to stormwater management and landscape at 2 Wall Street in Burlington. The proposed work would be within the riverfront area and the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetland under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14. The commission will be reviewing information relative to this application and may issue an order of conditions and a Burlington Wetlands permit. The application material is on the commission's website at the appropriate link. So we'll start with introductions, and you folks talk first.
Sure. How are we doing, everybody? This is Doug Dillon, wetland scientist from Goddard Consulting here, as you just said, representing Crosspoint Associates for their Chick-fil-A filing. In addition, we have our stormwater engineer, Joey Fonseca, who will let further introduce himself.
Yeah, Joey Fonseca, project manager with Bowler. We worked on the site, civil, and the landscape plans for this.
And we also have a representative from the applicant and ownership side of things, Kerry McCormick. So if you have any, at some point, any ownership or sort of long-term operation question, you can direct them to him. So this project is being proposed as a redevelopment project under riverfront and stormwater standards. So currently, 2 Wall Street is the location of a pair of restaurant facilities and a part of a larger commercial, restaurant sort of complex. So the ownership here owns 2 through 10 Wall Street, which is the adjacent parcel. So we are proposing to demolish the existing restaurant, which has a square footage of 7,996 square feet, replace that with a Chick-fil-A quick serve restaurant, which will have a footprint of, for the building of approximately 4,791 square feet. So this larger project will involve the reduction of nearly 2,600 square feet of impervious surface, proposing a number of stormwater improvements due to the fact that we are in riverfront area. Right, there's some relocating of various structures and sort of remixing of surfaces, right? So we're going to be accountable for 975 square feet of riverfront impact. And in order to make do for that, we're proposing an invasive species management plan in the native planting area of 1,975 square feet, thus meeting the standard for 2-to-1 replication under our particular filing. Altogether, in addition to my invasive management plan and the associated commercial landscaping plan, which is all native, we are proposing a total of 506 native plantings across the property. So currently, it is a relatively ecologically barren site, and if you've made your way over there to perform a site visit, you may have noticed that the sort of eastern edge of the property along the top grade nearest to the brook is very much populated by an unfortunate density of invasive species. So we're looking to totally zap those. That is sort of the long and short of it. Joey, I'll turn it over to you to describe in detail the wonderful stormwater improvements that we're proposing.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. So the existing site is mostly developed on 2 Wall Street. There's a parking lot with over 80 parking spaces, and you've got, as Doug had mentioned, about an 8,000 square foot existing building. Also note that there is, and if you all were on site, for a site walk, you'd note the wooden deck that kind of spans this property onto the abutting property, onto the abutting existing building. That deck is about 1,500 square feet. And again, it sort of spans the 2 properties across there. And it was mostly for the benefit of the fire, what was it, pizza, coal fire pizza. Yeah.
Excuse me a second.
Sure.
I think there's someone watching this. If you'd like, you can sit anywhere around here to get a better view. It's up to you. Okay.
So again, it spans, it's for the use of the pizza restaurant use on the sort of north end of the building. There are 2 uses, Tea Mezcal on the south side and then a pizza use on the north side of the building. So under the existing addition, stormwater is collected via a few catch basins. It's all, basically being conveyed to an existing head wall. That is, it's kind of in the same area as where that existing deck is. So it head walls in, there's a few pipes within that area. I believe a portion of the stormwater north of our site also head walls into there as well. And there's no existing water quality units at this site. The catch basins do have deep sumps, but they're not hooded, so you're not really getting that water quality benefit. It is sort of just being discharged towards that head wall today. At one point, there were some stormwater improvements. There was a dry well added to the south side of the building that captured a small portion of the existing parking area, and it just added some infiltration, groundwater infiltration. The proposed plan proposed to keep that dry well. We've got another area that's going to be associated to it that's going to be conveying stormwater to that dry well, but we wanted to keep that in place as it was, infiltrating, and it was providing some additional infiltration for the site. But for the most part, roof drain, existing parking, everything is collected and conveyed to the head wall directly into Little Brook under today's. And if you don't mind switching to the site plan, which is the next sheet. So under the proposed conditions, the existing building would be demoed. There'd be the construction of a new Chick-fil-A restaurant. This is it's just under, so this building is actually smaller than their prototypical size building, just because there's a lot of constraints on this site due to the property boundary. There's an existing retaining wall on the southern edge along south of the building that's, ranges from 4 to about 9 feet. We're not wanting to disturb that wall, keep that in place. We're sort of, squeezing in the drive-through in the building into, essentially where the existing building footprint is today. And really trying to limit the amount of disturbance in this lot. As you can see, the parking lot generally follows the same layout as under the existing condition, albeit just changing the traffic flow through the parking lot to one-way versus the two-way flow under the existing condition. There are about 80 parking spaces today, where the parking lot is being reduced to, I believe it's 63 total parks. So a reduction in parking here, but again, an appropriate amount of parking spaces for this use. So under the proposed condition for the drainage, again, we're looking to improve. This is a redevelopment, but we are looking to improve looking for improvements through the reduction of impervious coverage. So we do have a minimum reduction here. I think we're looking at about a 2,500 square foot reduction of total impervious coverage. So there are some additional landscaping throughout, there's a landscape island on the left edge of the existing parking lot. That's currently all paved. We're looking to create sort of a landscaped feature there, which again removes impervious coverage. And then throughout or alongside the existing drive-through, we're actually pulling that pavement back and versus where the existing building footprint is and the existing pavement footprint is. So again, an additional sort of green space there that doesn't exist today. And then, about, like I mentioned earlier, about a 1,500 square foot, removal of that deck that sort of spans the Little Brook today. So overall, we're looking to reduce the overall impervious coverage by about 2,500 square feet. So with that, it increases, the groundwater infiltration just due to the increase in pervious surfaces here with the additional landscaping. The proposed landscaping, as Doug mentioned, and there's a landscape plan that was submitted with the site development package. It does show, an improvement throughout the entire perimeter of the site, along with improvements along the drive-through and interior to the parking as well, along with, some of the additional wetland sort of enhancements that are being proposed along the brook itself. So we feel, with the reduction in impervious coverage along with the improvements to the landscaping, obviously we're increasing the we're increasing the perviousness of the site, increasing the infiltration, as well as keeping the existing dry well that exists on site today. So, and the stormwater for the parking area that will be collected, there'll be new catch basins that will contain a deep sump structure along with a hooded outlet. All of the surface runoff, the parking lot, the drive-through areas will be treated through in combination of the deep sump catch basins along with the water quality unit that will be treating all the surface runoff prior to discharging toward the existing drain line that outlets at the head wall. So a better water quality, stormwater that will be discharging towards Little Brook through the existing head wall. The existing roof areas and canopies that are considered clean, those are completely separated and tie into a new manhole that's in line. So it does bypass the water quality, so we're not overtaxing that water quality unit that we're proposing here. So all in all, reducing, runoff towards the Little Brook and also heavily increasing the water quality. So you're getting that benefit for the water quality of the stormwater as it's exiting the site. Just sort of high level with respect to that. Grades on site generally follow what exists there today, and we're really sort of limiting the disturbance to, the building, and I'd say that the drive-through area proper. The remainder of the parking area will likely just receive a mill and overlay throughout, as we're not changing the grades really for there. But as far as the drive-through and the building, there'll be more disturbance in those areas, but the parking lot will basically just match existing grade as it is today. And that's it. Happy to answer any additional questions on this, for this application.
I would like to add very briefly before you turn it over for a comment or question. We did receive a DEP file number, and as of last checking, even this afternoon, they've been issued no comments from DEP.
Could you give us just a little bit more detail? The parking lot is all being collected on the whole site
Correct.
through deep sludge catch basins, and then it's going to a water quality, the one water quality unit?
Correct.
And then where does it go from there?
So the water quality unit, actually, I'll go up and.
It would be helpful.
One real quick, yep.
So we're all clear.
So under the existing addition, this head wall, there's a head wall location here where I'm pointing
Right.
here. So currently, all the stormwater is collected and it's routed towards that head wall and discharges towards Little Brook. We're keeping a portion of that line there, so we're not disturbing within the brook, and we're not disturbing that head wall. We're replacing a drain manhole where my finger's pointing here. This is just a standard drainage manhole, and the reason for that is that's in line with that existing 12-inch outlet that goes towards the head wall. What that does is it's collecting the treated stormwater from the water quality units that's just upstream, just off the end of the drive-through exit, is collecting into this manhole, as well as the roof and canopies that are tying into this manhole. So this manhole here is kind of collecting all that stormwater, and then it's just outletting through the existing.
And it's not going through the water quality unit, the rooftop
The
water?
roof is not, correct. It's completely isolated.
Okay. And you're not doing any infiltration on the site because you're reducing the amount of impervious surface?
Correct, yeah, there will be an increase just due to the reduction of impervious coverage. And there's also the existing dry well that's located here. Again, a portion of the drive-through, which is in this corner, will be conveying stormwater towards that dry well, which is a similar area to what it was designed for. But there's also an overflow component, so if this were to fill, there's no overflow component that then sends stormwater.
So is that water that goes into the dry well treated?
Through the catch basin that's hooded, and
There's no water quality unit for that?
there's not, under the prior design, that was the design for. We were just trying to keep that or maintain that condition, just because it is a relatively small area that's being set towards that driveway.
Okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead, Indra.
Can you show how the water is going to that manhole? Or
In the proposed.
from the parking lot?
So everything is collected, there are catch basins throughout. Actually, if we could switch, I think it's probably two sheets down to the gradient drainage, might be easier to explain. Yeah.
I can't tell
So
what the title is.
these thicker dash lines are representing the drain lines that are collecting stormwater and conveying it towards the existing head wall location here. So under the proposed condition, there's various catch basins within the parking area at low points, and then along the drive-through at low points. All of that is being collected. This is the water quality unit here. It's being treated here, and then being conveyed towards the next manhole downstream, which again is capturing all the roof areas, canopies, everything's tied into this manhole, and then tying into that existing
So
stormwater.
the roof runoff also going through the
Correct.
water quality?
Correct. Under the existing condition, that's what's
Oh,
happening
that's-
today. Everything's kind of just running on land, everything's being captured by the existing catch basin and routed towards the head wall.
Got it. All right, so now we're going to go to staff and see if Eileen and Lucy have comments or have questions.
Okay, well, I made quite a few notes as I went through this one, so I'm going to just bounce through them and give some highlights and ask some questions. But I'd appreciate it, though, if you just maybe list the questions so that we don't keep having to come back. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right.
Before you do that, could you go over this is redevelopment, could you refresh the commission's memory on what it's required under Riverfront for redevelopment?
Well, okay, so that's two different things. In this case, this is going to be a redevelopment under the stormwater standards.
Right.
Which means they only have to meet certain standards to the fullest extent that they can.
Yes.
Right? And then, but it's also mostly, and here I might need a correction, they're mostly treating it as redevelopment under the riverfront as well, except that I think they're addressing the undegraded part, the part that was maybe just under the deck, as development, so that they can address the mitigation.
I don't understand that.
Okay.
Yes, so stormwater, 100%. So there is, like I said, a 975 square foot area where we're essentially proposing a surface style change. So under riverfront, it's sort of like, if you go from impervious to, vice versa, right, you need to sort of make good for that. So there is currently an area in front of the existing restaurant, and I have that graphicked out in my notice of intent package here, about 3-4 pages in. It's a sort of red polygon shape, approximately where the proposed drive-through awning will be. So that is currently a grassed sort of landscape style, yep, right about there. And we just need to make good on that. And that is what we're doing with the size of the invasive species management.
Could you
areas.
reframe what you just said? I'm not sure I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
That little portion they're treating as new development because it's not currently paved,
Yeah.
basically. Correct.
It's grass and,
All right.
the building's going to be there and we just got to make good on it.
So that's the portion that they're treating as new development under the Riverfront Act. But everything else is already, it's paved or degraded, so it's all redevelopment under the
So
river.
the portion that's new development is the portion under the bridge,
No, it's the landscaped area right next to the patio.
right next to the patio?
Yeah.
Okay,
Currently got mulch and I think a tree.
all right.
Okay, so how about I hop down through my notes and we can
Sure.
just,
Let's-
I'll just do highlights. A lot of which they already said. The parcel's only about 1.5 acres. Existing building is just about 8,000 square feet. And it, according to my measurements, is 14 feet from the river at the closest point. That's going to be demolished. The new building will be quite a lot smaller, 4,791 square feet. That'll be a little bit further from the stream, 37.5. But the pavement would be 13 feet from the stream, and the drive-through awning would be 12.5 feet from the stream. They have yet to go to the Board of Appeals. They have to go to the Board of Appeals as well, because that portion of the awning, like the pillar or something, I think,
Yeah.
is only 6.5 feet from the property line. They haven't done that yet, so just letting you know. There is a total reduction of about 2,500 square feet of impervious surface. Then they're proposing those two sets of native plantings as described. They're requesting a variance from both the 20-foot no disturb and the 50-foot no build. Let's just skip down to that because we kind of talked about that with the proposed riverfront. Encroachment, riverfront. I'm going to just jump down here.
Are you requesting for them to provide something that we need to note down,
Not,
they need to submit?
not yet. So they are also proposing an invasive species management plan, which I appreciate. Invasive species removal, should I say. And then that the part that I'm, and then they're replacing those two portions with some pretty nice native plantings. The only part I'm less enamored with is the plantings that are around the rest of the site. They are actually, a lot of them are cultivars, and two of them are not native to this area at all. So,
Really? Okay.
it was the
Where is this?
hydrangea, quercifolia, and
Where are these on the plan?
if we go onto the landscaping plan,
Yeah.
you would see them. They're in various places, including, there's one little island that they're showing in the middle of the parking lot that's proposing one tree. You know, I'm wondering if we can do more for landscaping somewhere on the site, but let's just jump, so that's one thing. Can we do more for landscaping? And can you please change those species? And then when it came to the stormwater report, so they are claiming that this is not a loophole, which we just dealt with in the last one, which means that there's a lot of traffic movement on the site. I'm not saying it is definitely. I'm just wondering whether you can definitively say that, because you haven't actually done your traffic report yet. And from what I understand, a Chick-fil-A is a very, very high traffic site.
Correct, yeah. So I don't have the final numbers, but being that it is a redevelopment with an existing, with two restaurants there, I'm not sure what that delta is. We can certainly get back to the board on that. We did include a long-term maintenance, but we were claiming there wasn't a loophole, but we can certainly look at that again once we have our final numbers.
So another thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, and I just want, what I'd like to ask for is certification. So they're proposing, as they explained, to not to infiltrate any stormwater. They're capturing it in catch basins. All the water, a lot of the water from the parking lot, and some of the roof water, all of the roof water, and going through the catch basins, then going into a water quality unit, and then going into the stream. What I want a certification for is that water quality unit, because you're claiming it's got 75% reduction in TSS, but the only certification I found online is 50.
Okay.
So if it really does 75, then fine, and if it doesn't.
TSS?
TSS, if it doesn't, then you don't actually meet the requirements and you'll have to do something else.
Yeah, I think we provided the TSS calcs, because with the deep sump catch basins upstream and then the water quality units, but we can certainly expand on that.
Well, I'm saying that the water quality units, you're claiming that it has a 75% efficiency.
And you're saying it's 50, okay.
And
got it.
I just haven't found that. My experience with those CDS is that they're rated for 50. So I personally would like to see some infiltration. They are showing
More infiltration of,
any infiltration.
okay.
They are showing that peak rates are reduced, but not volumes. They didn't address volume at all, which is required under the stormwater bylaw. So I'm wondering why you didn't think about infiltration on that site. If you can give us a little bit more on that one. And then, I think that's enough for now.
That was a mouthful.
They did show peak volumes, but it's buried in the data. They didn't put a nice little chart like they did with the rates.
I mathed it out yesterday afternoon, I apologize.
You had to math it out. So
All right.
it wasn't even.
I didn't math it out, I just,
They were very minimally reduced.
made my
in
own.
some
All
cases.
right, so
Okay, yeah.
let's go to other comments and see what we come up with. Indra,
Nothing.
nothing, we can go back if you think of something. Rob, anything?
I think I had some questions about that, so I guess what was the head wall outlet and the connection, because it looks like a lot of the existing drainage, the piping's being replaced, and then there was something about it connecting to the existing concrete pipe, but I think that's the pipe that
Correct.
outputs at that, yeah, so.
Correct, yeah, it's in line with the existing pipe.
Yeah, so that, sort of like, that. And then, I guess, one thing I was thinking about too, that at least having the buffer lines on some of the map for the 20 or the 50 would be sort of good to have if there's like a proposed waiver. I saw the 100 sort of through there, but I think sometimes you're just a clear line.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it noted, thank you. Ed, have anything on this?
Get an answer to the head wall?
All right, if you think of something, let
Did
us
Rob
know.
get an answer to the head wall question?
I think it's, yeah, I think it was sort of somewhat, and although my question I had was sort of like, where does that concrete pipe go that everything is being connected to? And then that is just, so the head wall sort of outflows into the brook, is that right?
Correct, yeah. So the existing drain line obviously ties into the head wall, and then it discharges into the brook. That line exists, and a portion of that line is going to remain, and we're going to be adding a drain manhole just upstream of that where all the stormwater ties in. It's similar to the existing condition, we're just changing where that final drain manhole connection is.
Before we continue, I'll go to Sarah next, but I want to interject with a question for Eileen. What, if it's redevelopment for most of the site, what is the requirement regarding the improvement to the riverfront under that scenario for the riverfront regs? In other words, what should we be looking at for, in other words, I guess what I'm thinking of is, you've described improvements to the site, lower impervious and less parking and stuff like this. But the riverfront has a very specific requirement to improve the site as much as possible. I mean, what do you have?
A couple of the standards under 1058.5 are, the area of proposed work shall not exceed the amount of degraded area, provided that the proposed work may alter up to 10% of the degraded area. If the degraded area is less than 10% of the riverfront area, that doesn't really count here. Proposed work shall not be located closer to the river than existing conditions or 100 feet, whichever is less. They're really, really close, but you should ask them for a clarification on whether they're doing that.
All right,
And then when an applicant proposes mitigation, I had just taken down a few things that were kind of relevant here. Proposes mitigation either on-site or in the riverfront area within the same general area of the river basin, alteration may be allowed, notwithstanding the criteria of blah, 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 at a ratio of 2-to-1 of mitigation, which is what they are actually proposed. They are doing that.
2-to-1 mitigation of what?
To the area of alteration not conforming to the criteria.
Okay.
That was what
Doug.
Doug, had explained about that area, that it was
Yeah.
the funny shaped area, that was, whatever it was, 900.
975.
Well, there may be questions by the commission on things you've talked about, so why don't we go to Sarah next, and given everything you heard. Anything?
I just have a really specific question regarding your landscape plan. One of the unique features of this site is some very large cottonwood trees currently growing basically with their roots in Little Brook, like huge trees. Are you planning to keep them?
Yes, yeah, I believe, Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, we are not proposing to eliminate or chop any existing vegetation.
Those are the ones
Okay.
coming right up through the deck.
Yep.
Coming right up through the
Yeah.
existing
Yeah.
deck, single-fired pizza deck, which
Yeah, they're very
a
interesting,
nice
yeah.
treehouse feeling. I don't see them on the plan, though. They're not mentioned. Maybe because they're not new. I just wanted to make sure they weren't coming down.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, they are shown on the survey on there, and we can verify
Okay.
the location of it. I think with that tree in particular, we want to make sure that, I know it's an existing tree, it's built around, we want to make sure
I
that
think
it's,
there's more than one.
yeah, there's one on the end,
Big
yeah.
On the second to last page in the whole plan packet, you'll see the Alta survey. They're in there.
Okay, good. That's all from me.
All right. Bill?
Your question of riverfront improvement, they said the 2-to-1 restoration, they also mentioned invasive removals that they wanted to do, so those would be some riverfront improvements. Is there just one water quality unit, or are there two? I thought I saw text saying two, but I can't find the second one. Is there two?
Just one water quality unit.
Okay, there's just, and it's sized to handle all this
Correct.
entire parking lot and stuff? Okay. In some of the drawings, it shows that island in the middle that's going to be vegetated, in the middle of the parking lot, and another similarly shaped one on the right that isn't vegetated. What is that?
Correct, so that is just a striped island. Due to just how tight the site is, in order for a delivery truck to be able to enter the site and then exit the site, we had to make this more of a striped island there, just to allow the truck to be able to circulate and exit. It is a very narrow site.
So it's not elevated at all? right?
It's not, no, it's just at grade, just
Don't
paved.
park here, basically?
Correct.
Thank you. Because at first I thought they were both the same, and then they were
Yeah.
obviously treated differently. Your planting plan shows a lot of lawn. Do you need that much lawn? I mean, you're going to have to water it, you're going to have to feed it, and then, fertilizers and pesticides and herbicides or whatever, weed control in that so close to a stream, is it necessary? Could you just have trees and mulch or something, some other kind of less water-consuming ground cover?
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just pop in real quick, and I'll then turn it over to Joey. So closest to the actual river, I have my native plantings. So nearest to the, what we're trying to protect, we have all the native shrubs, and I'm proposing also a native, wildflower or sort of a pollinator seed mix as well. And then we'll have the commercial landscaping. So I'm looking for that to act as a naturalized buffer strip
Yep.
immediately most adjacent to the stream. And then we're going to have the actual commercial landscaping. And then I'll turn it over to you, Joey, to sort of
Sure.
on that.
Yeah, and so I can certainly ask a question to our landscape team on, treatment for there. I will say that, Chick-fil-A, does maintain their sites really well. It's one of something that their operators do want is they want their sites to, to look good. They obviously want to be good neighbors in the town and as well as abutting properties. So I can certainly get with our landscape team and see what we can do to kind of limit that. And also, just because I'm not clear currently if that is, if there's any wetland mixes that we're showing along there to be unmaintained, but I can certainly clarify that and get back to the board on
Okay,
that.
because just having it look good and
It
having
is-
it be environmentally sensitive are two separate things. And, that is all of that border around it, except for the part that you're talking about and next to the riverfront, but even the rest of it is going to leach into the parking lot and then just get swept into the riverfront with just a water quality unit. So there's nothing to remove pesticides or herbicides or anything like that. So the more you can reduce that, the better, I would say. I noticed your soil and auger information, the subsurface explorations, that when you did augers, you were having auger refusal at like 8 feet and 13 feet down. What does that mean? What were you striking? Does that mean you're reaching water or you were reaching bedrock, or what does that mean?
Yeah, it could be a combo of either a large boulder or it could be bedrock through there. Those are borings that were taken for building, mostly for foundation design for the building and the canopies. It's just typical what Chick-fil-A does during their due diligence practice, but typically that is refusal, meaning that it is ledge or it's just a large boulder they couldn't.
Do you know if they found water level at those anywhere down in that depth?
So I'm going to pop that open. I believe there was one test pit that they did, but I believe it was, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, my curiosity is if the water level is down low enough, why couldn't you consider infiltration underneath the parking lot or whatever?
Yeah, I found it was unclear as well. I did have that note, it was unclear. They did borings which showed fill down to 7 or 8 feet.
Right. And the other question I had regards snow handling. We need to see something about where you're going to store snow on this, for snow removal and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah, we can indicate some of the snow storage areas. It's mostly going to be along the perimeter there, but I will say that that there is an existing plan for the plaza itself. It would likely be, with that Property management group would probably, service this as well. The operator could have their own private company, but I will say that, typically under larger storm events, if there's no area for snow storage, it will be removed off-site. But I know a lot of that activity will be coordinated with the existing property management group for both properties.
And the last thing I have here is the your drainage report. You did show a nice little chart of pre and post runoff rates for, the different storms up to a 100-year storm. A similar table for the runoff volumes would have been handy, rather than having to wade through everything to find it.
Sure.
That would, can put that right there, would make it
Yeah.
easier to
We can have
to digest. That is all I have.
All right, good. Thank you, Bill. Could you provide a little bit more detail on under the riverfront regulations, you would like to be no closer than what you already are, and if the commission had its preference, you'd like to be further away. Could you describe what we have now and how close you are regarding the structures, and what you're proposing, including the driveway and asphalt? In other words, you have, a wood structure, and then you have a asphalt track around it for the cars. Could you explain, like, where we are with regarding to, Eileen, don't we want to see an improvement in the riverfront in terms of the amount of work away from it if possible, but certainly no closer?
Yes, and to be fair to them, because it sounded like I was coming down on them a lot with the stormwater. They did approach us several weeks ago, and they said, this is what we're proposing. How can we approach the commission? And I did say, okay, that might be an issue. One thing you can at least do is provide some mitigation, which is part of why they came up with the invasive.
So instead of
planting.
a substantial improvement to the riverfront, there is mitigation throughout the site.
Well,
that-
no,
that is-
that would be to the riverfront, but it's actually right up against it's like pretty close to the stream bank itself, which is pretty, it's one of those, I like to call a tortured stream here, like it's a pretty deep channel and there's really no,
Isn't the fact that the deck is on the riverfront, it's on the river itself?
Yep.
And removing that, isn't that moving it further away by itself, just by definition? Because now you're not at zero, you're at something else, you're back up to the driveway? Or is that not considered a structure?
that's a good question.
Yeah.
It's not, we usually consider it pervious, so that is a good question about, it is a structure though.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, if you're removing that deck, is that an improvement to the riverfront to function as a riverfront? And my reaction is that's no. I don't think it
Well, I
really.
think it is. I think it is, because you're letting light in there, and you're
Correct.
letting plants grow where now it's shielded from that deck.
So I would say it is, and, from the project design standpoint, I would say absolutely. When I was doing my field work, I can't tell you how many pieces of cutlery I found in the actual river, because this is an actual dining area, and I'm not kidding. So removing that, it is going to be about.
You think it's an improvement?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And under the state WPA riverfront standards, we are meeting the requirements, and that's 10585G. So for the 975,
Of course, for the riverfront, you want shade, right?
I'm sorry?
For the riverfront, there's a benefit to having shade on the riverfront, correct?
Yeah, there are, as
So
you
removing the
said,
deck removes the shade.
well, there are those wonderful large trees that we're trying to save as well.
Which is shading the deck.
Fewer forks.
So you're removing some shade.
It's sort of a,
Moving the.
I guess it depends how you look at it.
it depends on how you look at it. I think a deck over a river, I don't know if,
All right, okay.
Run in a culvert
That's all right.
shade, and we don't
Get
like
it, sorry.
We can,
Well, could you explain what you're going to end up with, how close you are?
Yes.
The distances, and do you know what I'm asking
Yeah.
for?
so Eileen, I believe
the thing about the 2 to 1.
she had some numbers where currently, could you read those off again, just so we can maintain?
what numbers now?
The distance of the current, you had some measurements, I just want to maintain consistency with what you spoke on the record for the proximity
These
of
were some
the,
measures that I did.
sure, I just want to,
I had reckoned that it was, the existing building is 14 feet from the river at its closest point. and I had measured that the new build, sometimes it was in narrative. New building will be 37.5 feet from the stream, the pavement will be 13 feet from the stream, and the drive-through awning would be 12.5 feet from the stream.
Yes, and so that's why we were requesting the variance, because there is that top clip of the exit drive-through, as well as the sort of top two, kind of, or three, however many piers are under their
So
legs.
in other words, you have an existing building that's 14 feet from the stream, but the drive-through, the paved drive-through will be 12-something feet from the stream.
Yes. In addition to the deck, which, is at 0 or, negative.
So let me
even.
ask you, is there a reason why the whole project couldn't be pulled forward to actually free up more riverfront?
So the entire property is within riverfront. There is not
Is there a
anywhere.
reason why the building couldn't, and the drive-through, could not whole thing be pulled? Is there a way to pull it away from the river?
I don't believe so.
Like
So,
1 foot this way.
yeah.
There's the
Towards
retaining
Cambridge
wall that you run into.
I know, and this is kind of, as we said, this is a tight site. Every single inch of
towards
this
Cambridge?
property is
Yeah.
within riverfront of
But
some.
there's a-
Going this way isn't going to do anything because
No,
it's
it's
parallel to
going
the
like
river.
that
yeah.
way to get it away, but there's a retaining wall there that we saw with the
And that's pretty
dumpsters.
substantial retaining wall, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's not practical, is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can describe a few of the areas that are critical here. So the existing retaining wall on site is, it's basically right at the edge of this landscape bed here. This is a pretty high retaining wall with a fence on it.
Right, right.
So that is our one constraint here. Our second constraint is obviously the location of Little Brook. I will say, through the development processes, we were looking at different various concepts, various layouts. Chick-fil-A has already reduced the size of this building. These buildings are typically around 5,200 square feet. So we've taken off about, I think it's 12 feet off the edge of this side of the building. So the kitchen remains the same, they just removed some of the interior dining area, so our seat count's less than the prototypical. So in order to try to squeeze the site as much as we can, this was the direct result of that. So we did reduce the building footprint just to reduce the amount of...
But it sounds like the building footprint was reduced towards the Cambridge Street side.
Correct, yeah, to pull everything further away.
And you can't do it on the other side because?
I don't know.
The retaining wall is
Some people
is right up against the
I
drive.
have no idea who.
Oh, I see, you need it for the drive-through.
Correct, yeah, so our drive-through is here, that retaining wall is, like probably about 8 feet at its max height. That, we're not pulling that back.
And pulling the whole project 5 feet forward doesn't do much because the riverfront, the river's right along.
Yeah, it's the entire lot.
Okay.
Which way do the cars flow there? They come in from the bottom?
Counterclockwise, yeah.
And what's the bottom awning for? Is that for placing your order when you go around the top to pick it up?
Correct, yeah, so if you've been to a Chick-fil-A, this is
No, I haven't.
where, under peak times, like lunchtime and dinner times, they'll have team members out in the drive-through that will be taking orders. So the canopy kind of takes the team members out of inclement weather, as well as people, customers ordering in there with the window down, rain's coming in into your car. So that kind of protects both customers and.
So your driveway is, you should not be closer, but it's closer by about a foot or two, right? Is that correct?
Yes, that top clip,
So do you
Yeah.
need, so if that doesn't comply with the riverfront regulations, do you need a waiver from us?
no, it does comply with the riverfront under the state. It's your bylaw that we're requesting the waiver from, the 20-foot. So that's why we submitted the waiver as it does. So, we're compliant under 10.585G. And that's what, this and the other part of the ISP.
So the fact that the driveway is closer, you don't need a waiver from us for that,
For your.
for the riverfront,
We do need one for the bylaw.
for the bylaw?
Yes,
Oh, you do?
yes.
Okay. All right, that's what I thought, okay. All the pipes that are routing stormwater, are they all being replaced?
They are.
They are, you're not using old pipes or anything?
The only pipe that's remaining is is the portion of the existing pipe that leads to the head wall.
The head wall?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
But everything else internally.
And
will be
everything else under the current parking lot is being replaced?
Correct. With new catch basins and
Deep
new
sump
piping as
catch
well.
basins?
Deep sump with hooded outlets as well. So you get the benefit of the hooded outlet as well as the water quality unit for increased water quality benefits, yep.
All right, is there anybody in the audience that has a question at all, or anybody online? No? Okay, so why don't we go over the list that I took and see if everything is valid? Some of the species are not native, you're going to take care of that, right?
So it was the hydrangea and,
Most of the trees and stuff were variants, so you want to get straight natives if you can.
yeah,
Sorry, you want me to tell you what they were, the two?
sure.
The hydrangea, quercifolia, and rhododendron cata,
Let's just say rhododendron, yeah.
yeah, the rhododendron.
Okay.
So you're getting rhododendron, and are there trees being planted as well?
Yep, yeah, we have some white oaks for the commercial landscaping, and mine I have some pretty hefty
Did you
shrubs.
specify somewhere a height for those plantings?
Yes, I do believe they were in the planting schedule.
Yeah, the size, the container size and the size at planting are proposed in the landscape plan.
Usually 2 to 3 feet at
caliber.
least for the,
For the shrubs?
yeah.
Correct.
And how about for the trees?
So the evergreen trees that are being proposed have a 6 to 7 foot height listed, and then the canopy trees that are being proposed through, this is, again, through the perimeter of the development, they are specifying the caliper, 3-inch calipers. So
Does that
pretty-
sound good?
Fairly
Great,
substantial.
great.
Everyone okay on that?
Yes.
That sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's what it,
Other than, like I said, our cultivars
Isn't that
shows red maple, autumn,
it
October
is.
bloom.
Yeah, we can confirm that, but that's, yeah, that's
White oak is,
landscape.
All right.
white oak is gonna be, but that's
That's,
All right, and Eileen, you asked for more landscaping or something, or somebody did?
well, I mean, yeah, it was just right in the center, you just got that one,
Island,
we didn't talk very much about it, we can talk more maybe the next time.
okay,
Just got that one island with one tree,
all right,
And we're talking about reducing the amount of lawn.
yes,
if possible.
yeah.
exactly.
And there's going to be a determination on whether it's a high-intensity use area?
Correct.
Okay. And there was a question about percent reduction of TSS. Did you have that down?
Yep.
Okay. And Eileen asked why there is not, why you couldn't do more infiltration. You mentioned that?
Me too.
Okay. And somebody asked for a table before and after volume. Nice, easy way to assimilate it. Okay. And somebody asked for 20-foot and 50-foot lines. I think that was Rob's. Something about location of trees on plans, are they sufficient? Was there something on
It's the
that?
cottonwood trees.
Yeah, they are on the survey, I guess I would,
just
you know,
asking
if you've
about the
been,
cottonwoods, the big ones, are they gonna be included?
Yeah.
If they were not present in the landscape.
So you go, oh, okay, the existing trees, you're going,
Existing trees.
you're going to make sure that's on the plans.
Correct. They're there, we'll highlight them, so it's a little bit clearer to see.
Okay, that would be good. A question about clarification of borings?
Yeah, I see the boring log and I don't see any water level, so it did not hit any water.
So they didn't encounter, I was looking at them too, there is a heavy fill layer on the site. I mean, the fill is down to about 8 feet, which we'll have to communicate with our geotech, because typically you're not infiltrating in fill. Typically, that's considered, Class D soils there. We'll talk to our geotech crew that did the borings and just kind of confirm that as well.
Is that considered fill?
That's what their borings were,
Yeah, just-
were indicating.
Boring, I don't see the
Yeah.
water. The-
But it didn't say fill. I
Yeah,
did,
I think it's safe.
It did say fill there. I'll run through and I'll
Yeah.
comment further. Most of them were
If you see the existing field, it says,
sorry, say it again?
the column
I have to open it up again. This keeps closing on me.
says existing field
Okay,
in the boring.
Snow handling plan, some information on that. Okay. And the you're going to need a waiver. Could you provide us with language for, that would end up in a motion as the justification for the waiver?
Sure, yeah, I had a blurb of that in my application narrative. I can send that as a separate document if you'd like as well, even.
Because we're going to have to make a motion for that.
Sure.
Sure. That's all I have. Does anyone have on the commission anything else that they heard?
Covered mine.
Did you have anything else?
Yeah, the only other item that Eileen had mentioned was just the lawn areas surrounding it, to reduce that, to see what we can do to
Reduce
kind
the
of
lawn
reduce those
areas,
lawn
right.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so that's it. So it looks like we can continue this. You'll submit information to answer. I think that's a pretty complete list.
Yeah.
So we won't have to keep sending you back a piece at a time.
When are you opening with the planning board?
So we can't file with the planning board until we have ZBA approval for the canopy. Our ZBA hearing is on the 21st, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's our first zoning board. We were hoping to have already been through. We were supposed to be on I think it was the March 31st hearing. It got bumped to 21, so.
Just,
I was asking that just to figure out when they want to continue to.
okay, so we have the next two meetings, are April 23rd, that's 2 weeks, and next one after that is May 14th. Do you have a preference that you can't make the next meeting, or you want to put it on there and then request 2 more weeks after that?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, some of these items I think are, we can quickly run through and address. I think if we're coming in here after our first zoning hearing, we'll have a better, understanding where that application sits.
So if you need another 2 weeks,
Correct.
we'll just continue it then.
Okay.
All right, could I have a motion to continue the hearing for 2 Wall Street, Cross Point Associates, to demolish existing buildings and construct new commercial buildings, repave, and provide stormwater utility improvements to the commission meeting of April 23rd? Second? All in favor? That's a 6-0-0. All right, that was a good presentation, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very
For your
much.
time, everybody.
All right, thanks for your help. All right. Okay, next we have, I didn't say this, but we have the 7A hearing is continued. Do we need to have another motion on that?
No, we did continue it. We had that vote. I just put it on here for clarity since people have been following.
All right, planning board comments, anything?
We'll let them know that this opened tonight, because we know that they were kind of waiting for their traffic reports and other things.
So will you be issuing comments to the planning board on both projects? Wilmington
I
Road?
think it'll just be more of an informal, informational, because I'm not sure we're ready to put formal comments yet on
Got it.
the portal.
Sure.
Okay.
Subcommittee and staff reports, is there anything under that?
There's a cleanup in Mill Pond this weekend.
Is this in honor of Earth Day?
It is in honor of Earth Day. It is this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., meeting at the Water Treatment Center at 70 Winter Street. Afterwards, from 12 to 1, there will be a celebration on the Common with snacks, if that's an incentive. It is for me to work on a Saturday.
Have you had some interest from people?
We have, yeah. Nikki Cadillac of The Buzz has been the ringleader of this whole situation, so she's been engaging with a lot of people.
Okay, so,
But people have to vote first.
Yes, vote. I mean, you can vote
Oh.
after, once your belly's full and the
Once you got-
reservoir is
with your
clean.
Vote
Snacks in
before
your
or
hand.
after.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any
With your
difference.
snack in your hand.
There will be coffee in the morning.
In your dirty hands.
Yeah.
other business, do we have anything else?
The 0 Polk Street, just if anybody wanted to comment on that at all, I forwarded it around. That was weird wording. The town administration had given us this notice that the select board will be meeting to discuss potential sale of this 0 Polk Street. They had asked us to distribute it to our various boards and committees.
Is that the
in case
one with the
anybody
broken
had-
down house on, nearby?
Well, I don't know about nearby,
No.
but it's only about 2,600 square feet. It's it's between two other, you discussed it in town meeting. Do you want to tell them what it is?
It's a funny little parcel of land that was sort of basically like a surveying error from many years ago where things were inconsistent. So there's this strip of land that could conceivably belong to any one of 3 possible lots. abutters on either side and behind, and they all want it.
They all want it.
Yes.
We're going to war.
So the question was, should we keep it as a mini pocket park, which I, of course, argued for, and no one liked that idea? Or should it be sold to the highest bidder to make money for the town and generate revenue, which makes much more sense in that one?
Or we can have a very mini wildlife trail.
I thought that was a wonderful idea, but yeah, it was a minority opinion.
Somebody's already using it as if it were their own, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Someone's kind of squatting, like putting their boat on it or something.
Okay.
So that's the plan.
It's really strange, very small lot.
It's a very Burlington problem, like.
Yeah.
And it also,
people didn't-
it doesn't, it's not adjacent to anything that we would be interested in, so it's not adding to anything for conservation.
Absolutely true.
That's, yeah.
So this one is probably not really of interest to us. Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, so the next meeting is April 23rd, the one after
Oh,
that.
Did
is-
everybody sign the anti-harassment thing before we just, that was my second thing?
I believe so. We both signed that.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
here. Great, thank you very much.
All right, next meeting is April 23rd, next one's May 14th. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Everyone in favor?
Yep.
600. Have a good evening.